Good evening and welcome to tonight's Undaunted, bringing to the news on 12 stories. I am Oyin Yokbala. Let's begin. In Bonakama, where the red soil clings to weary feet, and nights fall heavier without the comfort of steady light, a restless silence hangs in the air. Dry taps echo louder than speeches, and darkness stretches longer than promises. From this quiet corner of the Kumber, and the voice has risen, not in rebellion, but in reckoning. It is the voice of the man within the fold, a councillor of the ruling Cameroon People's Democratic Movement, daring to speak what many whisper, that loyalty cannot quench thirst and allegiance cannot illuminate homes left in darkness. As patience thins and hardship deepens, Desmond Tezo Mazamaza's plea cut through the stillness, a call not for favor, but for fairness, not for politics, but for basic human dignity. In a place long considered a stronghold, the wells have run dry, and with them, the quiet certainty that supports is unconditional. For Bonakama, the question is no longer about party lines. It is about water, about light, and the enduring truth that even the strongest political roots must be nourished or risk withering under the weight of neglect. All these and more we'll talk on tonight's Undaunted, but first, the prime headlines. Power restored in Mulung after over a year of blackout, but Nchoubuh has been left in darkness. CPDM Councillor in Bonakama demands restoration of water, warns party of possible blackout. Woman found dead in Zhung bushes after night trip from Bafmeng in Mechum County. Also tonight, police launched Kale-Kale raid in Ambazonia neighborhoods of Yaoundé and dozens were arrested. Tonight, on the African scene, over 1,000 Kenyans recruited to fight for Russia in Ukraine, intelligence report tells Parliament. Also tonight, high-profile leaders convene as new international board draws scrutiny over membership. Now let's get the news in full briefings. After over a year of struggle, residents of Mulung in Bamenda can finally breathe a sigh of relief. A new Cameroon body in charge of the supply of electricity has installed a new electricity transformer in the neighborhood, restoring power to the area. This development comes after a year of advocacy and public pressure, highlighting the community's desperation for reliable electricity. However, the joy is bittersweet as Nchoubuh, another neighborhood in Bamenda, enters its third week without electricity. The prolonged power outages crippled businesses, left residents vulnerable to insecurity and disrupted daily life. For many, electricity is a lifeline. Businesses rely on it to survive. Students need it to study. The households depends on it for basic necessities. The prolonged outage in Nchoubuh has pushed residents to the edge, begging the question, when will they get relief? As Mulung celebrates its restored power, the cry from Nchoubuh grows louder, and Enyo is urged and all the authorities to act swiftly and address the plight of those suffering in darkness. Barrister Mbeseha. Darkness, power, is still what we talk about on a regular basis. Meanwhile, in some climes, when there is going to be a power probably outage of probably 1 hour, 2 hours, a mail is sent, a memo is distributed, people are aware, and they would know that probably they're not going to see light for a couple of hours. But that's definitely not the story here. The story here is that people have been out of power for a year and it's been restored in one part, and in the other part, they've not seen power. But we know that this is not just the only area. There are areas we bring here on a regular basis that are struggling with power supply. But it's very sad, extremely sad, that power is what we come here to talk about on a regular basis, but it's highly important we do so. Welcome to tonight's Undaunted.
Thank you for having me once more.
Share your thoughts when it comes to power in this community.
Well, I think you want me to analyze power in Mulung, because that's what we're talking today. But what is the difference? Yesterday or today is the turn of Mulung. Yesterday was Motengene, and the other day was Limbe, the other day was Buya, and so on and so forth. You can name them. And these are, of course, urban places. The rural areas have nothing even to say. But the issue is this power thing, be it in Mulan, be it in Bali, be it in Bafut, be it in Bambili, wherever it is, it has become rationing. I have given where the company has to write and inform you, put you on that there will be no power this time to this. So the company does that because they think that they owe you something. It is the company that owes you the rights. And so they have to inform you as a consumer, because you have the right to consume, that they are going to interrupt. But in the case of Cameroon, light or water, nobody owes you anything. That's why they can ration at will. That's why whatever thing they give, you find the population will come out to dance and clap and thank them. It's a gift. It's a gift to them. A gift is optional. A gift is free will. We thank the government for giving us electricity. We thank the mayor for telling us this and that. We are thanking them according to them. Making it of something that they pay. You pay to borrow money. But the idea of even supplying them the thing is considered a gift, not just an ordinary gift, a political gift. Because this is what they sell during election campaigns. This is what they sell to promote the CPDM and power. And so if electricity has become a gift, in other words, lights have become a gift, which will not have, life depends on light, it depends on water. It's a gift to be given to you by the government or whoever. Then we've changed the parameters of whatever life means to us. Today, boy, yesterday, Motengene the day before. And the same story, they have installed a transformer. And we've asked this question many times before. What goes on with the transformer when today I get back tomorrow? When the same Bamenda, somewhere there, it was in Bafut, somewhere around there, where they installed a transformer about 2 weeks ago. It didn't work the first minute. What did they explain? They explained that it was installation error. They took it away, we're never seen anymore. And so this is a political weapon being the impoverished people of Cameroon, being used, being rationed on the people of Ambazonia. And I say being rationed to Ambazonia because we find all this cry, or I've asked this question many times before. The electricity in Mulan, which is in Bamenda, is the same electricity that is consumed from Adair, passes through Bafusambunda. The same electricity that is consumed in Adair, passes through Douala to Tiko and Buya, and so on and so forth. Why is it rationing so much in Ambazonia? Why has it become a gift to people of Ambazonia to be given lights, something that they will pay for, to be installed fake transformers that sometimes they even ask to go and buy with their own money? It is a law against the people. It is one of the reasons why we fight, I've said many times before. In Ambazonia, or in the former British Southern Cameroon, people did not need to go back power camp to give them lights. They didn't need to go back Sata to come put water for them to drink. They brought it to you because it was their duty. The politicians had the duty to bring those things to you because that's the reason why you have a government. The government assumes those responsibilities. They supply you those services and you pay for the consumption. In West Cameroon, Southern Cameroon, Ambazonia, there was something they call pay. Pay as and you paid the ratio that is attributed to you. That was fair. There was not something somebody could distribute. They could discriminate you against you. And again, talk about electricity. If we had Ambazonia there, right there, if we had not been destroyed, Mechum force should be able to supply electricity throughout the whole northern zone, throughout the whole Ambazonia, and possibly export it to Nigeria. And so again, the way the people have been reduced to beggars of basic things that belong to them by right, they cease to be a people. Who are these masquerading on us? Who are these tormenting our people like this? That the people of Cameroon and Yaoundé through their agents, be they the prefects, the sous-prefects, the mayors, whoever they install there, they are working for the account of the paymaster general, who is in Yaoundé. And so we're shaking off the shackles. We shall restore ours. We shall do better than what is going on now when we get finally established in Buya. Over to you.
All right, thank you so much, Barrister. And still in talking about challenges and basic amenities, this report says that a municipal councillor in Bonakama in Kumba has publicly criticized the government over the colonial government over the prolonged lack of basic amenities in his communities, warning that continued neglect could provoke political resistance even in what he described as a ruling party stronghold. Desmond Teso Mazaza, a councillor affiliated with the CPDM, called on authorities to, in what he has called fear God, and urgently restore water supply to residents of his area. In an audio message circulating locally, Mazaza lamented the hardship faced by inhabitants, accusing officials of depriving the community of essential services, including water and electricity. In his words, it says, "You people have deprived them with electricity and water. They are begging for their own right. Try and help them," he said. Bonakama, located in Kumba, has long been considered a CPDM stronghold. However, Mazaza cautioned that the continued absence of basic amenities could strain political loyalty. He warned that residents, despite their historical support for the ruling party, could resist CPDM campaign efforts if their grievances remained unaddressed. But we here on Undaunted say it doesn't matter whether they are CPDM or not, because we can argue that citizens who pay taxes are entitled to essential public services regardless of political affiliation. The remarks come amid growing concerns in part of Ambazonia over deteriorating infrastructure and limited access to public utilities. As of now, there has been no official response from local or national authorities regarding the concerns raised by the councillor. Residents say the lack of water and electricity has significantly affected daily life, with many forced to rely on alternative and often costly sources for basic needs. Barrister, a councillor begging that the people, his people, should be, recognized and given one of the things we consider as a basic necessity, but is actually no longer basic because this has become something There has been a political tool, a political campaign tool that is used over and over again. If you're not talking about light, you're talking about roads, you're talking about water. And this time around, a councillor has come up to beg for water for his people. Although we can say that would have been a positive move, but saying the people are a strong CPDM isn't just enough reason why we should applaud him. As far as the people pay taxes, they should get water. As far as they are living, as far as they are alive, as far as they are humans, they deserve to have water. So we feel that, okay, because this is actually a political tool. I mean, water, just like we did in our previous report, light, power, is a huge necessity. It's also used as a political tool. We can say for crying out or for crying out loud, he has done something that is a bit commendable. But the truth is, every human deserves water, and it is the role of the government to provide water for everybody in everybody that they are governing. Let me hear your thoughts, Barrister.
Well, I think my thoughts might be a little bit more expanded because that guy talking is calling him a councillor. Well, it is a councillor for a CPDM or any other party is a councillor. Therefore, he is a member of government. He is a member of the local government of Kumba. That's a government. So he was elected councillor to sit in Kumba and call on the government in Yaoundé to come and give them water. The man must be drunken with this an idea of politicians or representation. He knows nothing about it. If he comes from Kumba, I think the whole of Kumba or the division is called Meme. In the middle of Kumba town is a big river they call the river Meme. Flowing there, that's water. At the corner of Kumba, you have the Bafmeng lake. That's a whole pool of water standing there. And I've said here just in a few minutes ago and before that we had something they call SATA based in Kumba. What was the role of SATA? To teach you how to tap your own water. If that guy knew what he was doing, the council of Kumba, which by their own terms is a big council, they call it city council, should be able to tap its own water from the river Meme. All what they need is to purify it and make it drinkable. She ought to tap water from the Lake Barombi, because that's water standing there doing nothing. All what they need is to have it purified for them. If the Cameroon government had not killed Sata in Kumba, the technicians would be there. They were training technicians for water supply. And let's not forget, when they destroyed our water system, they went to Kumbo and tried to destroy the water. They tried to take over the water there by snake. The people were saying, no, we'll build this water ourselves. You snake, you have nothing to do here. And they drove them away. For the record, in Tico, they had water supplied by the CBC. They didn't go to Boya to ask for water. They had water supplied by the community, which they build their own towns and got water supplied to them. They didn't need to go to ask for that. And so everywhere there's water, everywhere there's so-called government, be it a councillor, be it a regional council, a local in Kumba, Bamenda, or in other country, they are also called government. They wanted to sit in Kumba or in Boya and call on water when the rivers flowing behind their back. What are they doing with their own money? At the very least, in ourselves, in our Ambazonia style, what we will call community development. It is money you could organize people in Kumba. Let me just say for the record, if you went to Kumba and say, look, every resident of Kumba should pay just 5,000 francs for water. And they pay that sum. They are going to supply Kumba all the water that they need. They will not even need to pay any water bills anymore. So if this guy don't know what they are doing, they should know it. Telling us that if they don't do the homework, what is CPDM? It's a criminal party, like any other political party in the world. Their term will come to an end, like it or not. The CPDM will disappear in the near future. They will disappear. But Kumba will remain, Boya will remain, Bamenda will remain, Yaoundé will remain, the CPDM will be gone. And so if politicians are waiting for the CPDM to do anything, well, it was created in 1985, I think. It's been more than 40 years since the CPDM. If they have not delivered water, if they have not delivered electricity, if they have delivered nothing, they don't even have garbage collection in Kumba or anywhere else, and you are still calling on people to vote for the CPDM in order to get something from them, you are wasting your time. Mr. Councillor, you are just a bare councillor. You don't need to go to Yaoundé. Turn to your mayor. Go to the corner there to Sata. Get the technical services. Have enough water in Kumba to drink. But be bold enough to tell them that this is your water. We don't need somebody called Snake or whatever thing they call it now to come and put meters and make us pay. If you can do that, you'll be a politician worth the salt. Be it in Kumba, be it in Bamenda, be it in Kambe or Wum, the same principle applies. And so we are tired of sitting down, folding our arms and waiting from somebody from Yaoundé called the CPDM. I wonder that the CPDM by itself will not work. It is a party structured on the availability of one man called Mr. Paul Biya. It is his party. He runs it the way he likes. And since Paul Biya is politically dead, you don't see him anywhere. He celebrates his birthday without his presence. He celebrates a birthday over his effigies. Then the party is, if you're waiting for the party, why is he calling on somebody in Yaoundé to go and do it? It's Mokete not just sitting there. Who's supposed to be a member of the Central Committee or whatever you call it? Who's supposed to be a member of the Senate and everything that you call this structure? He's supposed to be the paramount chief of Kumba. Why do you need to make noise there? What is he doing? If Yaoundé must be the one to bring you this thing through CPDM. Mokete is there and many others. It should be the same thing in Bamenda. There's a whole city mayor put by them. There's the front of Mancom, the front of Bari. These are all members of the Central Committee of the party. So it is across the board. It is not this party that will bring you anything. Rather, you challenge the nonsense of the party. Be self-sustainable. Survive by yourself. Again, Kumba, like any other place, is full. In fact, most of our divisions are named according to some water sources. A lake, a river, a stream. So, wait for somebody to bring you water from Yaoundé or call it CPDM is a waste of time. And that's what we're fighting against. We'll return to ourselves. We'll get our water like the Banso people got theirs. We'll not able to pay. We'll do it. We'll get the technical assistance we need. If it is no longer from SATA, we can get it from someone else. And so that's the bottom line. Bonakama, please, there's a river running through the middle of Kumba there. We have in the town green. It is called town green because the place is always green. It's watered every day. Tap the water, then you put them in Kumba. If it is not enough, go tap Lake Barombi. Let it produce water for you to drink free of charge. And so again, let these people know what they're doing. I hate to see this thing called CPDM Councillor. Where you're a CPDM, no, you're a councillor. You're part of the government. You're the government of that city. You're the government of that division. Over to you.
Obviously, thank you so much, Barrister. And we go into another sad report. A wave of shock has swept through the community of Bafmeng in Mechum County following the discovery of a young woman's body in Mbarara bushes of Zhung. The deceased, identified as Stephanie, was reportedly last seen alive on Monday night when she left Bafmeng in the company of her boyfriend and a female friend for a trip. According to the surviving friend, who was later interviewed in Casa, the boyfriend allegedly drugged both women before sexually assaulting them and abandoning them in the bushes late at night. Disoriented and unfamiliar with the area, the two women reportedly wandered in search of help but became separated in the dense Zhung bushes. While one of the women was eventually found alive, Stephanie remained missing. Her body was later discovered after Mbarara header reportedly spotted a lady's cap in the area and alerted others, prompting a search that led to the grim finding. Local sources say the boyfriend has since been arrested by French Cameroon military and is currently being questioned in connection with the incident. Authorities are yet to issue an official statement as investigation is still underway. Young girls going for trip and of course meet their deaths. Very sad, extremely sad. And what can these be attributed to at this point, Mr. Mbeseha? Barrister Mbeseha, I beg your pardon. What can this be attributed to?
Well, I think what I would attribute this to is self-inflicted wounds. This girl, like her friend, did not need to die. Her friend, both of them suffer, according to them, from sexual harassment. They did not need to suffer that. They volunteered into that criminal activity. That area where they have been killed, has been known publicly as insecure. There are alleged Bororo crossovers at night that have killed people unrepentantly. And why on earth would a human being, a young woman of that stage, above all, follow a boyfriend to the darkness of the night to do a night journey? You should imagine the risk that she was taking. If that guy is a boyfriend, I must be a boyfriend. Why do you need to do the journey with him late in the night? And if he is what he is, how will he be able to sexually harass two strong women like that? These girls were not 13, they were not 14, they were adult girls, maybe at least 18. So why do you volunteer yourself into death? I will call it self-inflicted wounds. Again, she went with a friend. Apparently she has a family. Did she tell her family or her close relatives where she was venturing into the night, into the forest? It's not like leaving Bali to Bafmeng in the day. It's not like leaving Kumba to Boya in the day. The story says in the night. What were they doing in the night in the forest? Just for the sake of a boyfriend? Why do the journey at night? It's self-inflicted wound. But the good thing is, we're told, if that is true, that the gentleman will be identified and arrested. Like any other thing in Cameroon, we expect this man to be brought to justice. He should be tried for whatever thing he committed. He should face the sentence and bear the consequences of his acts. But again, we warn everybody in advance. Justice is rare in Cameroon. You'll be surprised to see that young man walking down the street the next day. And then you ask, what was the essence of claiming to arrest him? So far, no government statement has been made. But this is an occasion where they would have made the statement publicly. Where is the deal? Well, as you said, the man who represents the president should be there. This is human life. The security of individuals, both men and women, is the responsibility of the president through his security chain of command. That starts from him down to the governor, to the prefects, to the brigade commander, to the police inspectors, and so on and so forth. What have they said up to this point? No statement. Why this silence over such a terrible crime? The statement would have meant something. At least if it was meant, they will be warning the citizens from such adventures tomorrow while they investigate what is going on now. But not say anything. What prevents the next girl taking off into the forest, be it in Bafmeng, or be it somewhere in Manfred, somewhere else in Ambazonia? Night journey on foot, risky journey by itself, which I caution against. The government of all, the authorities should caution against if they have the interest of the citizens at stake. So they're not doing this. Is it neglect? I don't know. Is it punishment? Only God will tell. But future ladies, young women and men, don't risk their lives for nothing. A boyfriend, not even a husband. A girlfriend, not even a wife. So why venture into the unknown at night, taking the risk where the morals, crimes, and Fulani fightings are like day and night over there? So my only question is, for the future, let no girl, let no human being, no man should even go into the forest, travel causing the forest Bafmeng to the other community in the night, because they can kill you. The Fulani, their conflict is permanent. It seems to be permanent over there. They can take away your life at any time for whatever reason, and nobody will hold you accountable, because up to this point, nobody has been held accountable for the crimes that they have committed so far, or that have been committed so far in that area. So why do you voluntarily take yourself into this danger? Caution, don't do it the next time. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Barrister. Thank you for that. Meanwhile, security forces have launched an ongoing police operation in the Ambazonia majority neighborhoods of Carrefour Obili and Chapelle Obili in Yaoundé, resulting in dozens of arrests, according to local sources. The operation, locally referred to as Kale-Kale, began earlier today and is still underway. Witnesses report that heavily armed police officers have set up checkpoints across major streets and junctions in affected areas, stopping pedestrians, commercial motorbike riders, and motorists to demand identification documents. The police are stopping all pedestrians and bike riders and demanding their ID documents. Those without IDs are immediately arrested, a source in the area told newsmen and Undaunted. Residents say security forces are conducting systematic sweeps, moving from street to street and questioning young people, in particular, several individuals who could not immediately produce national identification cards were reportedly taken into custody and transported into police vehicles to undisclosed location. The motive behind the operation has not yet been officially communicated. Authorities have not issued a public statement explaining the purpose of the raid or confirming the number of arrests made so far. Carrefour Obli and Chapelle Obli are densely populated neighborhoods known for their large student and Ambazonian communities, including proximity to the University of Yaoundé. The areas have occasionally experienced heightened security presence in the context of the ongoing tension between the two Cameroons. Local residents expressed concern over what they described as indiscriminate checks and arrests, saying the operation has disrupted daily activities and created an atmosphere of fear. As the situation develops, community leaders and human rights observers are calling for clarity from authorities regarding the objective of the Kale-Kale raid and the legal status of those detained. Undaunted will continue to monitor the situation and provide updates as more information becomes available. Barrister Mbeseha, this is very sad. We remember the incidents about their identity cards and how much people would have to spend to be able to, get the identity cards for themselves, their personal IDs. And I know that when this kind of situation comes up, they may say that those that were without IDs were those that were arrested. But do you really need IDs to be able to work in your own countries even when you are supposed to be one? Or is this division actually acknowledged by the colonial military in Yaoundé? We would like to get your thoughts.
Well, unfortunately, you see, Obuli, as you call it, and then Chapelle, those are areas I lived in personally when I was in Yaoundé. I lived in Obili for 2 years. I lived in Chapelle Obili for 2 years, for my 4 years stay in Yaoundé. I can attest that that's a hub for English-speaking people in Cameroon. They are students mostly, but with the presence of the war, parents have joined their children there. And so they are targeting a community which is essentially English-speaking. What are they looking for? You don't know. But we know what they're looking for, even though it is not written. They're looking for identity cards. You know that not everybody has it. What are they looking for? They're looking for opportunity to extort money from people. Because nobody will take into court after such a raid for not having an identity card. Everybody who does not have one will pay for his or her freedom. So much money, 50,000, 100,000, maybe $1 million. But they have to pay to get their freedom. And so it is calculated to get money from the people. I've said that 1,000 times before. Kale by themselves are illegal. You're not allowed to swap into people's homes and catch them without any warrant. Search warrant if you're looking for something, or arrest warrant if you're looking for an individual. Well, don't arrest the community without a warrant, because no judge will issue an arrest warrant. They will arrest people in Obili, or they will arrest people in Chapelle Obili. They will not issue a warrant to go and search houses in Obili or houses in Chapelle. They will issue a warrant to arrest A, Madam A, Mr. A, B or C by name. They will issue a search warrant to search house A, B or C by name, not the quartier, not the whole quarter. And so there are searches without warrants. There are arrests without warrants. And they don't even come to your house. They wait for you to come and relieve. You're moving. They catch you. And ask you to bring an identity card. They have guns. If you have forgotten one home, no, they're not asking you to take it back. They will take you to their custody and force you to pay to get your freedom. Is this what we stand up to anywhere in the world? Is this a mistake? Certainly not. We're targeting that area. I'm yours and mine. They're knowing these unfortunate people there, unfortunate Ambazonians. If at one moment that they could escape from violence in their own home and find shelter in Yaoundé. The thing has been repeated in Douala and other towns. Is that a place where you have to find shelter? If this thing were done by, for example, the Nigerian police, or the refugees will complain the same. So why are they doing this to these people? How many times have they deployed their forces in Nchoubuh, in Bastos, where the core of the administration lives? Can they guarantee that everyone that lives in Nchoubuh and Bastos has an identity card? Can they guarantee that they who are living there don't have double identity cards, including foreign identity cards? Why have they never done that to those people there? Because they are not people that they can arrest at will. They are not like the Ambazonians living in Obili or Chapelle, because they are protected by a core of people. And so again, this is unwilling, unacceptable punishment being brought on unwilling poor people who have simply sought residence, who have simply escaped from violence perpetrated on them by the very government, be it in the northwest or what they call it southwest. They did not escape because they wanted to escape. They escaped because Paul Biya declared war on them and started killing them. Well, even a drowning guy will fall into the fire. They escaped from the violence perpetrated by the government. Their homes were destroyed. Their children were killed. So they had to flee for wherever they thought they could find shelter. And they found themselves in Yaoundé to meet a worse place where you will be extorted by day, you will be extorted by night. This is unacceptable. This is not the Cameroon that we voted to join. And so this should be a reminder to people, Ambazonians who find themselves there. You are in a foreign land. Be careful until you come back. It should be to our brothers and sisters like the councillor we were talking a few minutes ago, who think that they owe a place in Yaoundé, where you can say in Kumba and call somebody in Yaoundé, oh, your people are suffering in Kumba, they will listen to you. Nobody will listen to you. The same thing that will apply to the people of Mulung, where you child could sit there and say you have no electricity, and somebody will bring electricity. No. These are strangers who will pretend to help you, but they will not help you. These are people who will pretend to be your friends, and they will rape you. These are people who will pretend to be your friends, and they will extort money from you. They will take everything that you have in your life. And so that's the reason why we'll fight. And we'll fight until we get there to the end. Having started it, we'll become the 2 cubes of sugar that will never melt. Over to you.
All right, thank you so much, Barrister. Thank you for your thoughts in all of the conversations that we've brought to the front burner. Thank you so much for being here with us tonight on Undaunted.
Thank you for having me.
Right after the break, we'll head into Kenya, where over 1,000 Kenyans were recruited to fight for Russia in Ukraine, while intelligence report tells Parliament. More than 1,000 Kenyans have traveled to Russia to fight in the war in Ukraine, many of them allegedly deceived into signing military contracts, according to an intelligence report tabled before Kenya's parliament. The findings presented on Tuesday in a joint briefing by Kenya's National Intelligence Service and the Directorate of Criminal Investigations mark a sharp increase from previous official estimates. In December, authorities had suggested that about 200 Kenyans were believed to have been recruited. The new assessment places the figure at over 1,000, raising fresh concerns about the scale of recruitment operations targeting the country. Well, according to reports, many of those who traveled to Russia were lured with promises of well-paying jobs, educational opportunities, or security-related work, only to find themselves compelled to sign contracts with the Russian military and deployed to the front lines in Ukraine. Some recruits are said to have entered Russia on student or tourist visas before being channeled into enlistment. The revelation echoes a growing body of international reporting on Moscow's recruitment drive across Africa. The recent investigation by the French news agency detailed how recruiters have targeted young men in several African countries, offering salaries, residency incentives before transferring them into combat roles. Kenyan lawmakers expressed alarm at the new figures, calling for urgent government intervention to prevent further recruitment and to assist families seeking information about relatives believed to be fighting in Ukraine. Legislators also pressed security agencies to intensify efforts against local recruitment networks and intermediaries suspected of facilitating travel and contract signings. Officials told Parliament that investigations are ongoing to identify recruiters operating within Kenya and to determine whether any criminal laws have been violated. Authorities are also working with foreign partners to verify the status of Kenyan nationals currently in Russia and Ukraine, including reports of casualties. Kenya has maintained a neutral diplomatic stance on the Russia-Ukraine conflict, but the involvement of large numbers of Kenyans in the war presents a complex legal and diplomatic challenge. Under Kenyan law, citizens are generally prohibited from engaging in mercenary activities for foreign powers without state approval. The intelligence agencies warned that economic hardship and high youth unemployment are making young Kenyans particularly vulnerable to overseas job scams, including those linked to military recruitment. They recommended stronger public awareness campaigns and trigger scrutiny of foreign recruitment agencies to curb further exploitation. The government has not yet announced whether it will seek the repatriation of those who remain in Russia or take diplomatic action over the alleged conceived coerced enlistment. Now, when we return from the break, we'll get into news across the globe where high-profile leaders convened as new international board draws scrutiny over membership. A new international board backed by the United States and key regional partners is drawing both high-profile participation and notable absences, showing the geopolitical sensitivities surrounding its mission. Countries including Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, and Hungary have joined the initiative alongside Belarus, a controversial addition given at Minsk remains on the US and European sanctions for supporting Russia's war in Ukraine. Belarus' presence on the board, despite its international isolation, has raised questions among diplomats about the political balance and broader strategic aims of the group. However, several key US allies have opted not to participate, highlighting divisions within the transatlantic and regional alliance over the board's mandate and structure. Officials have not publicly detailed the reasons for their absence, though observers point to concerns about governance, transparency, and the geopolitical implications of certain member states' involvement. The gathering is expected to feature a roster of prominent political figures. Former US President Donald Trump, is later to address attendees, according to a senior US official familiar with the planning. Says he will be joined by Secretary of State Marco Rubio, as well as senior diplomatic figures, including U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations Mike Waltz and Special Envoy Steve Witkoff. Also expected to speak are Jared Kushner, who previously played a central role in Middle East diplomacy efforts, and British Prime Minister Tony Blair, who serves on the board's executive committee. Blair's involvement is seen as an effort to lend international credibility and policy expertise to the initiative. Serving as a key bridge between the board and the Palestinian Technocrat Committee is High Representative Nikolay Mladenov, a seasoned diplomat with prior experience in Middle East peace efforts. His role is viewed as critical in coordinating policy proposals and facilitating communication between international stakeholders and Palestinian governance structure. The high-level participation signals the board's ambition to shape political and economic outcomes in a region facing ongoing instability, yet the absence of several major allies and the inclusion of sanctioned states such as Belarus suggests the body may face scrutiny over its composition and long-term viability. That's it for tonight's Undaunted, bringing to the news on 12 stories. But before we go, let's take a look at the news that made it to tonight's headline. On tonight, Undaunted, we told you that power restored in Mulung after a year of blackout, but Nchoubuh left in darkness. Tonight, we told you that the CPDM Councillor in Bonakama demands restoration of water, warns party of possible backlash. Also, woman found dead in Zhung bushes after night trip from Bafmeng in Mechum County. Police launched Kale-Kale raids in Ambazonia neighborhood of Yaoundé and dozens were arrested. On the African scene, we told you that over 1,000 Kenyans has been recruited to fight for Russia in Ukraine, intelligence tells the parliament. While on the global scene, high-profile leaders convene as new international board draws scrutiny over membership. That's it for tonight's Undaunted, bringing to news on 12 stories. On behalf of Barrister Mbeseha and the team of technicians behind tonight's production, it's good night and God bless.